What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. I've got Gary Judge here from Across the Park podcast. Hope you're all well. First off, congratulations. Once again, I am in the winning circle. Once again, Gary. I think that's 8 or 9 times this season, since August, that we've had our bets up this weekend. So buzzing with that. If you want those winning tips that I'm just dropping for you every week, I'm being honest.
You got to briefly tell them about your loss as well. That you.
Oh, my one personally, yeah.
God.
So again, for anyone who's not on Patreon, sign up now when you get the betting tips. Loads of internationals at the weekend, wasn't there? Loads of postponements. So I couldn't really go for my normal footy bet. So I just went for a banker double. I think it was Stockport and someone else. Just thought banker double, paid about 5-2. Anyway, money in the bank.
Stockport
Swindon. Happy days. So I done that bet myself. But then as I'm looking, spoke to Gary on the phone, I was like, ooh,
we were talking about the rugby.
Rugby's on today,
really.
isn't it? So I asked what Gary's bet was. He done my bet and then I done his bet. So I ended up having 4 teams that come in, but rather greedily threw Wales and Ireland in the mix and was standing to win a pretty penny.
A lot of money.
A pretty penny. So at 5 o'clock when all the football had finished, Wales had 10-0 up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the?
You were literally counting your money, weren't you?
And I had it spent.
Yeah.
And then obviously both Wales and Ireland got beat, which was devastating.
Basically had 2 trebles, didn't you? And the 6
I had 2 trebles and the 6-fold, yeah. But like I say, anyone who does like a bet, it's always responsible gambling on there. And we're well up since August from the tip. So if you want to get signed
I think obviously I'm not influencing you because you're a lot better at this than me, as we found out the other week. I think it'd be good maybe just throw a double in there now and say, look, just if you're just wanting the safe one, this is my recommendation on the safe double. Maybe like a bit of a feature, because that was a flew in, didn't it? Literally flew in.
Both 2-0 and 4-0 might have been.
Yeah. But it was like both 2-0, I think, after about
20 minutes or something. So yeah, get signed up. And we've also got our Wednesday show, which we just recorded as well. So that's be good entertainment for you as well.
Just want to, before we go past it, because we were obviously on it, I think we need to talk about the rugby.
Yeah,
let's
start off
both
there.
Got into it over the weekend. And you know what? Fair enough. I was listening to TalkSport before the weekend, and they were basically saying, and it was like a couple of rugby pundits, and they were like, we're really disappointed how long this World Cup is. It's like it's taken people so long to get into it, because they're like, it's miles away. You know, the groups are so big, and it was like, there was games at the start, but it was like, you've still got 5 games before you get to the knockouts. But it's safe to say, since the knockouts have kicked in,
you know what it feels a little bit like, though? It feels like, I can only compare it to football. You know, when England are playing like Azerbaijan, you're like, not asked. The start of the World, because normally
that's right.
The difference bit is, though, the qualifiers in football just felt like the group stage.
Yeah, that's right.
Cup.
That's it. That's what I was going to say. I think what I'd say about the football World, the men's or women's World Cup, because you've only got 4 teams, you can't really lose it. You lose a game, suddenly you're against it. Whereas those groups were like 8 teams, and it was like,
is that what it was?
Some teams like lost 2 games and still got through. It was like, kind of loses a bit of its.
Yeah, once it's at the quarters and obviously semis, now it's like, wow.
And the interesting thing, as you were saying on last week's Sportcast, is like Northern Hemisphere teams going into these quarters looked like nails on to win it. You know, had Ireland were the favourites. Yeah. Wales looked like they should definitely get through against Argentina. England, you know, should get through against Fiji. Now, again, that's right up against it.
It was looking like a clean sweep for the Northern Hemisphere.
France, again.
Obviously, and France as well, yeah. So, yeah, bitterly disappointing for me on a betting front, but what a weekend of just like, wow. I actually tweeted, anyone who was watching that shit show of a DAZN boxing card rather than the rugby needs to sort their head out.
Like,
don't even listen to those speaking about sport, because you don't even deserve to listen to anyone speaking about sport if you chose DAZN over the rugby last week.
You know what I really enjoyed about the rugby, and I don't know about anyone else, and any seasoned rugby union fan will be like, well, that's standard. I know it's standard, but I thought it was great for entertainment, is the fact that the game doesn't end until that phase ends.
Yeah.
Imagine that in footy going.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Like, it's the 95th minute, but if you keep the ball, it doesn't end until you have a shot or the ball gets kicked out. That was amazing.
I
would 100% back that in footy in a heartbeat.
But you know what you'd have, though? Someone just 2-footing someone, and you'd have been a foul.
No, but that's a foul, so but that wouldn't count in rugby. It'd still be a penalty.
I guess then, yeah.
So it's only if the ball gets kicked out. Do you know what I mean? So if you get it and welly it out, like the game, it was the last game
against the All Blacks.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and they had like 30.
No, it was the last game. It was France and New Zealand. New Zealand picked the ball up and the felder wellies it out.
Was Ireland New Zealand?
I can't remember. They were all...
Because they all played over the weekend.
No, France and New Zealand. It was definitely France and New Zealand. No, France, South Africa.
It was,
France, South Africa.
It was Ireland, New Zealand, and the pushing.
Yeah.
And it was
Ireland was 40 tackles, wasn't it?
It was mad, but such good fun to watch.
Yeah.
And England could be the rank outsiders. I think South Africa now. You mentioned actually South Africa.
Yeah.
You know, the tenacity of them and all that, and they're just like
got a kicking game and the solid, solid defensively, so powerful. They're not as pretty as obviously the French or the Irish were, and certainly to a certain extent New Zealand. But England, I can't see how England get past that South African team.
I don't, and I think it's going to be the All Blacks who win the whole thing. I think, which is mad because they've not been playing great in the lead up to it all. But
but they're just like. They're like the Germany, aren't they? Of rugby. Like, it turns up at the tournament, they know how to win.
They're just an unbelievable team.
But Ireland, it was like, without being whatever, it was like proper Ireland, weren't it? It's like, but
they got themselves right back into it at half time.
They did.
19-18 at half time, I think.
But they were just panicking, weren't they? And like, without, certainly we're not the people to go tactically and technically into it. Yeah. But you could just see they were forcing things. They were trying things that maybe they wouldn't normally do. They reverted from the trusted and tried and trusted formula from the last 18 months. Heartbreaking for them to obviously fall at that stage. But semi-finals coming up this weekend. What a day of sports that is, though.
I know.
What a day.
To say that then.
And we can obviously talk about it now in terms of the schedule. You got the derby, 12:30. You got your normal 3 o'clock kickoffs. You've got the UFC, which is on early because it's in Dubai.
Yeah.
You've got the boxing, which we'll talk about in a moment, which is on in Liverpool. You've got the other boxing. Dan Aziz is also fighting as well, which is on later on. You've got the rugby at 8 o'clock. Friday night it starts, actually. Friday night, Argentina, New Zealand. It's a brilliant.
And you'll have a load of horse racing thrown in as well at some point. So, yeah, it's a belter weekend. On that note, if you think we're going to be talking about all that, we've just recorded our Wednesday Patreon show where we go into detail on the whole DAZN influencer boxing. So we're not going to touch on it again. If you want to listen to our opinions on that, get signed up on Patreon. It's on the Wednesday show. And we're not going to talk about the Merseyside derby. We're going to be doing an extra special show, which you might have already listened to because that's going to come out yesterday, Thursday. So we'll talk about the derby properly then. But with regards to everything else in sport, the rugby cracker, and I'll be watching that this weekend. If we touch on the boxing, because Tasha Jonas, our very own, has come out this week and she's become the first black female to become a manager in boxing. Incredible. Which is just standard Tasha Jonas, isn't it? Really?
It is, just breaking records.
She's just an unbelievable human being who's just a trailblazer in seemingly everything she does. Unbelievable. I mean, she was an unbelievable footballer by all accounts.
All family,
boxer, great sport family, great mum, great. What's so funny? You talk about influences and you talk about people. I mean, she's the perfect role model influences, isn't she, for any young lady in this city? Not even lady.
Just a few of the things we touched on in the Patreon exclusive podcast. There was talking about opportunity, and you've just got to make the most of what you've got. Like their family, they couldn't have probably had more difficult circumstances growing up. Yeah. But wow, have they made the most of it?
Unbelievable. So congratulations to Tasha on that. Unbelievable.
And another thing she put out earlier in the week as well, which I completely agree with, I shared it on my socials, is she's trying to advocate now, certainly at the very top level, that females have the opportunity to box 3-minute rounds for 12 rounds. She's saying, we're doing exactly the same training as the gym and as the men in the gym. We're preparing for 12 rounds. We're boxing, sparring 3 rounds. Why are we not getting the chance to box 3-minute rounds?
And it's a great argument because I think as well, I know there is still there is still an argument of men and women's boxing is the same. The second that they start doing exactly what the men are doing, it goes even more to them just stopping this. Oh, it's not really the same. Do you know what I mean? If they're both doing it, it's surely it's a better thing for them getting judged and paid on the same level. And
you know what? I don't think she was saying that all fights have to be that. She was saying they should have the opportunity. So almost when you're doing your pay split and stuff, maybe, like for example, obviously if it's not a championship fight, you can decide whether you want to do 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds. That's negotiated. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's then authorised by the whichever body it is. But you can do that in men's boxing. You can do it in women's boxing. Why can't you say, well, championship fights, they should be 3 rounds?
3 minutes, no, it's great.
3 minutes, sorry.
We've got a massive card. Is it in the Echo? Is it this weekend? It is, isn't it?
It's in the Echo. Well, we call it the Echo. It's the M&S Arena, but it's a stacked card. It's unbelievable. I mean, the main event is Catterall Linares. Now, I think that's an absolute walkover for Catterall. I think Linares has been finished for a long time now. I think he's only won one of his last 4 or 5 fights. Still, you know, listen, he can, if he gets himself into good shape and whatever, he can certainly compete and make it difficult for Catchell. But I think the local fighters is where all the attention.
Can I just say on that, I still feel so sorry for him. I've got a bit of an allegiance because I'm mates with Jamie Moore, but I still, every time I hear
it's horrible.
I just think of the fight he got fucked over.
His only defeat, and he's been, because of that. And I was talking to someone about this the other day. He's almost made himself, or because of that, he's been victimised because no one wants to fight him now.
Yeah,
He's like, you're not the profile because you haven't got the belts.
Yeah.
And you're clearly very tough, and you should have won that fight, and he got out off, didn't he? You got Peter McGrail, obviously related to Muskie, and obviously an extremely talented fighter, arguably one of the best amateurs that's come out of the city. He's fighting for the WBA Continental Super Bantamweight title against Fran Mendoza, unbeaten Colombian. Very, very good fight. Looking down the card, ones I recognise. Paddy Lacey, who's obviously been on the show, top lad. Faz is on there, Tom Farrell, who's had a lot of defeats, but he's fighting in a decent domestic scrap there as well. Campbell Hatton, who seems to be on every card, just wants to fight anytime he gets the chance. So yeah, it's probably Jack Turner as well. By the way, wow, what a explosive, exciting fighter he is. He's based out of Dubai, but he's a Scouser from Crocky. Anyone wants to get there early if you go in there. I mean, if you go in there, don't miss Jack Turner.
Go straight from the derby.
I mean, it won't last long. It'll be probably 30 seconds, a minute. But the lad's, you know, he's seriously pulling up trees, and he's going to be a tough fighter. William Croller's on after that as well, Anthony Croller's brother. He's, again, that might not last long, but you look, and there's very few fights on that card I wouldn't want to see. So great to see that following obviously a weekend of.
I was going to say,
crap.
It's normally I'm hating and moaning on boxing, but yeah, I mean, with a card like that, no one can moan, and it's great that it's in Liverpool as well. I'm just imagining fellas up and down the country, you'll have like the boxing on, the rugby on.
Oh my God.
They'll have the betting slips from the footy in hand.
Well, you know, for me this weekend, and my wife's going away with work next week, so I'm gonna have the kids all week. So I mean, it is what it is. I have to support her, and she's good at what she does, and it helps us. But I said, look, babe, I'm going out early on Saturday, and I'll see you on Sunday morning. Yeah, like it's a dream day to be going out with the lads, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got my breakfast sorted for like 9:30, mate, already. Okay, yeah, that's boxing done. We joked about it last week. Frankie Dettori, it's his final retirement party now this weekend. So this will be his final race in the UK until he decides to finish up in America and come back and probably have another one. So it might be worth having a little watch just out of interest to see how Frankie gets on this weekend. It's what it is, isn't it? With that,
I know.
I feel like it just fascinates me, the fact that, like, yeah, well, listen, we spoke about last week, didn't we? The farewell tour, that wasn't really a farewell tour, but anyway, it's his final race in England this weekend, and then he goes off to America to start on that. And with the football,
I mean, football first and foremost, just reminds everyone, don't forget about your fancy footy. Update your team. When it's been an international break, I'm the worst for that, forgetting about it. I jumped on there before. I flew up that table, by the way.
Yeah, I had a couple of decent weeks, to be fair.
Up to 22nd, I think. I was like 40th or whatever.
We've got our scout, haven't we? So if you're on Patreon as well as the betting tips, you also get a bit of a scout update, what you should and shouldn't be doing. And we've not given away his name yet. I'm going to start calling him the Stig. But I'll put it this way, he's up there, you know.
Is he up there?
Yeah, he's up there.
Well, he should be up there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's not just... we're not giving blag info.
The
scout whose name will not be announced.
Yeah. Up there in our league, or just up there?
No, he's up there in our league.
Okay, fair enough.
He's in the mix. Let's just
that. Yeah, it definitely rules us out anyway.
Yeah, that's not me.
But I honestly though, like, I'm the worst for just forgetting about my fancy footy team. But because I'm on that one and I'm on here and stuff, and there's a certain degree of credibility of the week, I thought, no, I'm not having this.
You need to be a bit more.
I was listening to the scout show, and it's helped me climb the league. One thing we need to touch on, which is devastating news for Newcastle and Aston Villa, but more so Newcastle, is the not allegations.
He's been listening to the Leg of Betting show, hasn't he?
Wait, I think he's been getting carried away with your tips. Yeah, Sandro Tonali and Nicola Zaniolo have been found. Well, they've been charged with.
They've actually been charged.
They've been charged, and Tonali's actually admitted it. Tonali's admitted to being a gambling addict. Went back home, told his family and friends, and basically he's now, or it's been suggested that he could be facing a worldwide ban for up to 18 months.
Now, you suggested to me that maybe the club he was sold by knew about this.
I think they did. So AC Milan, obviously, he was a prized asset for AC Milan. The fans were shocked. That AC Milan aren't a selling club. Do you know what I mean? They are under some. They subbed on a rumour like for mega money, but they're not like.
I think they're in some. I'm sure they're under some sort of financial kind of issues, maybe.
Yeah, but it was like the fans and the club up to the start of that season were saying there's certain players we can sell. He is not one of them. He's a homegrown. Like he was like the Gerard Carragher. Like it was like no, he's not sellable. And then suddenly it was like yeah, he's gone. And the fans were like really shocked and dismayed by it. But you look at it now, and I was with a Newcastle fan last night. One of the dads in my daughter's school, and our daughters were playing footy, so talking to me, went, we're all convinced. It was done so quickly. Wow. He said, we're convinced that they knew.
But, so not only of AC Milan must have said to Tonali, listen, do not say a fucking word about this.
Yeah.
Keep this under wraps.
Well, do you know what he was saying? Again, the fella I was talking to was saying, we were all thinking, how can you be so inconsistent from 1 week to the next and that? In his head, yeah. In his head's chocker, isn't it? Thinking if what I believe is true, he's thinking, oh my God, I'm always cheating on my own club. I've got all these things that I'm trying to keep locked down. I'm probably betting on my own team to win this game or to lose this game. But I mean, look, just to briefly touch on the seriousness. If he's genuinely, a gambling addict, then fair play to him for admitting it, and hopefully gets the help he needs. I think it's a subject that divides people, because a lot of people will see it as, listen, you greedy B, you've got everything, you're a professional footballer, why do you then need to gamble? Unfortunately, fortunately, I would say it has been recognised along as much as anything else. And you've admitted yourself to having troubles with it as well in the past.
Yeah. It's not a nice thing to have to deal with. Like you say, in your headspace, it's something that can consume you. So the fact that he's hopefully going to get help now is great for him. It's just not great though if Newcastle are kind of putting 2 and 2 together themselves, thinking, what have we signed here? Because it was 60-70 mil, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 60 million.
AC Milan must be laughing there, I know. Wow.
Nicolas Zaniolo as well. It probably doesn't look as much as conspicuous as the Tonali one, because he has been on loan the last few windows. But they, as a club, have maintained we're not selling him. He's because he's a very bit like an enigma. Do you know what I mean? He's an extremely talented player, but he's just one who's just took a while to mature. And then suddenly this summer, it's like we're selling him, gone, done. And Mocky at Villa apparently was like, I can't believe we've got Zaniolo. Like, this is a serious coup for the club. But Zaniolo, unlike Tonali, is denying it. He's saying that he's disputing the claims.
Interesting week for Newcastle.
One thing
fans.
I did want to bring up though, and I brought it up with again the dad I was speaking to last night, because of the way that the regulations that bookies have got now, particularly with Premier League players in this country. I'm not sure it's the same in every other country. They kind of keep an eye on them now, and they're like making sure that you can't bet or whatever. It obviously led me to speaking to him, and he must have had like his mates must have always been involved in this, or he must have had accounts in their name, mustn't he? And it almost.
I think it's impossible to stop someone though.
No, it is. But like any addict, they'll find a way, won't they?
Yeah.
Not stop them, but it's like you wonder.
You can make it harder, but if he wants to do it, then he's gonna do it.
But I think I'm particularly interested if he's opened up and he's admitted it. I'd like to think that if he's really transparent and honest about how he's managed to do it, that the authorities will go, look, if you can give us complete transparency, it might help us to support other players, and therefore we'll be a bit more lenient with your ban.
Either way, I think Newcastle will be.
It's a grim one for Newcastle. Not as much for Villa, because Zaniolo isn't a starter yet, is he? But it's a grim one there.
Another person who is pissed off, and it kind of leads down your kind of conspiracy about whether AC Milan knew, was this whole 12:30 kickoff for Liverpool. So they're playing 12:30 this weekend against Everton, and now they're going to be playing 12:30 against Man City. That's 3 times I think this season they will have had, and only in November. I think they've had 12 in the past, however long. The next closest is 6, I think, which is Tottenham. Which Liverpool fans will moan, and every other club will say, stop moaning. You know what I mean? But
it's bad.
I wouldn't say a conspiracy theory, but there's something in, like, what's going on there? There's something, like, but that's not, it's not fair.
What I don't get, and I know obviously the TV influence these, I get it. And look, Liverpool are a popular you know, team for people to watch and what have you. But at some point, the Premier League got to go, no, listen, that's not fair now. Yeah. You've got to, no, it's been brought to our attention, whether you meant to or not. You're now saying, look, everyone's onto it now, so we need to just stop it, we need to address it, and this is how we're going to do it. It almost calls for, and I'm a blue, but it is funny, it almost calls for them to almost come out and say, look, we're aware of it, wasn't intentional, however, this is our plan to kind of address the balance.
And I remember last time they played at 12, McAllister had flu, I think, so he played at like basically midnight Wednesday night, and he's playing 12, then Thursday, Saturday, knock out, and he's got to get back, jet lag, etc. He stunk the gaff out.
Well, I was going to say, if I'm, and we're going to touch on this in our Derby special, if I'm Sean Dyche, I'm targeting McAllister in terms of make sure on his first touch you're on him, because it's going to be, because of the tiredness, there's going to be a point where he, you know, the ball runs under his foot, or he's a bit loose with his touch. Or
mentally, though?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Mentally?
Yeah, because for 90 minutes, and he's your, correct me if I'm wrong, you play through him. Like, he's your kind of, give the ball to him and he'll start the attacks.
Yeah.
You're that person, you're getting the ball so often. Your concentration at some point, you're going to switch off, or you know what I mean?
It's a mad one, and again, I know everyone who's not a Red will be buzzing off it, but as a Red, you've got to start going, there's something dodgy going on here. Like, come on.
There was something, I mean, I'm not going to go there with it.
Jim Ratcliffe looks like he's a bit closer now to taking over Man United. He's got, I think it's going to be announced on Thursday, tomorrow, so yesterday, for those who are listening now. 25% share. I don't actually know if things are going to change that much though, because ultimately I'm not into the ins and outs of the business world, but ultimately the Glazers still have got, I think, a 30-40% share.
Yeah, I think because of the stake he's purchasing, he can have, I think, 2 seats on the board, and he's talking about bringing in someone who's going to be a bit more like not a CEO, but
going to look after the football side.
Like a whatever, head of operations or whatever, director of football or something like that he's looking to bring in.
Yeah.
So I think he gets so many seats on the board. Sky were breaking it down a little bit, and he was saying because of the nature of Man United's financial structure, half of the money will go to shareholders, you know, for you've got shares on the stock exchange, so half of the money will go to them. And then it's how much money then is going to be reinvested in the likes of Old Trafford, because the United fans are, you know, dismayed about that. They're being left behind in terms of the state of their ground, the training grounds. You know, is any of the money going into funds, or is it just going to go into the back pocket of the Glazers? And that's going to be the
sticking point. On that, one of the things he said he wants to do is turn Old Trafford into a 90,000 seater stadium. It's been a while since I've been to Old Trafford, but I've got a few United mates and they say it is like falling down, which brings me on to Liverpool's ground.
Oh God, yeah.
Did you see the tweet that went out
saying that the away fans weren't going to be allowed to attend?
No, it's better than that. They've asked for anyone who can't go to give the ticket back in,
so that people can go who are going to be in the Anfield Road.
Yeah, so obviously they've sold tickets that aren't available, so the staff allocation has been pulled back, and now they're saying to people, anyone who's not going, give your ticket back into the club,
like an amnesty.
We'll refund it and give you a £10 voucher. Biggest game of the season against your local rivals, and you think people are going to hand the ticket back in and get a £10 voucher? Get your fucking head down.
Well, a big Red that I know, Steve Edge, won't mind me mentioning him, he put on his Instagram yesterday on a story, like the chat that he was having with someone from customer services at Liverpool, and he was like, saying, obviously, you know, he's a massive fan, he's been home and away with Liverpool for years, and he was saying, you can't do this 4 days before a game.
No.
And then he said to them, you've announced that the stand's not going to be open until 2024 now, so can you not just tell us that we won't? No, we can't do that. It was like, so what? You're going to wait till 4 days for the next game?
Before Man City or something.
And they were going, no, we've got a process where we're trying to get. And he was like, no, that's not good enough.
It's a joke.
It's shocking. Like, I mean, there was a rumor, wasn't it, that look, the away fans weren't going to be allowed because it's like it's dangerous to stand and all that. Which would have been interesting. I mean, that would have been more of a fast.
That would have been more of a fast. Yeah.
But it's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And once again, unfortunate, and I don't mean to like stir the pot here, but once again, the owners or the establishments have fucked off the loyal fans, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, I've seen a tweet saying that to someone who's went, you know, again, a bit like your mate, home and away for the last 25 years. He's getting told 4 days before he can't go now.
Yeah,
it's like not on, is it?
No, it's not. And I'm not saying that football isn't a huge part of my life, because it obviously is.
But there's some people who are a lot bigger.
There's some people that are literally like, it's their
it's
their
everything.
only kind of, not only escape, but it's their only real, you know, opportunity to really.
No, big time. Mate, so on footy, like I say, we're going to be touching on a special derby show, but this weekend you've got Bournemouth Wolves, 2 relegation rivals for you.
Really tight. Like, there's not many games this weekend that you can see like going definitely one way, is there?
I think there'll be a lot of draws.
Derby.
Bournemouth Wolves going to be a tight affair. You got Brentford Burnley, another tight affair. Man City Brighton. Surely Man City aren't going to get beat 3 times on the run.
Tell you what will happen this weekend. A lot of last man standings will be going.
Well, my last man's still going.
Yeah, so is mine. I say mine.
Don't know who Jenny's in it, isn't
Jen's
she?
In, yeah.
I don't know who to go for this weekend.
She's still got Tottenham, so she's going for Tottenham on Monday night against Fulham.
I need to have a serious think this week. You've got Newcastle Palace again. Another. See that being a tight game. Forest Luton. Super tight. Chelsea Arsenal.
I know it's.
Wow. And Sheffield United, Man United.
Be surprised if you see a Premier League fixture in the Leggett podcast treble or whatever this weekend.
Yeah, there won't be. I'll tell you that now. And then you got Aston Villa and West Ham on the Sunday. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a decent game again. We spoke about how good Saturday's going to be for sport in general, but again, the Prem looks on fire this weekend.
It does, yeah.
Right, so it's short and sweet this week because the majority of the show is going to be taken up with the derby, but we're going to do our own derby special, which hopefully you would listen to yesterday. Don't forget, if you want our take on the farce, which is Misfits, that's on the Patreon show on a Wednesday. You want my betting tips, they'll come out Saturday morning. Get signed up at £1 a week. We would appreciate the support. If not, have a boss weekend. Loads to look forward to, and we'll see you next week.